All right, let's just get to it, huh? Historic Sultai Flash. I always like to get out of the way because someone's going to bring it up that all our spells here happen to be standard legal. And you're right, they are all standard legal. Jukawal, thanks for the 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. And Tobias, before I signed on, thanks for 3/4 as well. The spells being standard legal does not mean this archetype directly ports to standard. A deck that's trying to play double green, double blue, and double black cards, the mana base upgrades that we gain in Historic are a big deal. So having access to Woodland Cemetery, Hinterland Harbor, and Drowned Catacombs instead of Fabled Passage and a bunch of basics makes the mana in this archetype a lot more consistent in Historic than it is in Standard. Past just the mana base getting better in Historic, the format that we're trying to attack, I think, is also a little bit more forgiving and appealing to be playing these spells in. So things like Nightpack Ambusher tend to be a lot better against, creature-based decks as opposed to the kind of go big ramp style and pseudo combo teamer reclamation that we see dominating Standard. Engineer, thanks for the tier 2 resub for 3rd months. I appreciate that. Flash, checking in for a year and a half. Happy Sunday. And Fonsetti, thanks for the year and a half as well. So let's go ahead and jump on into some matches here with this. This felt pretty reasonable last time we played it in Historic, but I don't think we've touched it since they suspended Winota, so let's see how it goes now. Yeah, I agree, Marty. It's also a commentary not only on how slow rotation is, but also just how powerful the current standard is in terms of spells. Like, even when you look back at like Modern and Pioneer and even Legacy to a degree, just like looking at the number of cards that were printed in 2018, 2019, and 2020 that see play in the top decks of those formats, it's a lot. Yeah, I added the Aristocrats build, Fox. Usually I only send emails if there's a rejection. Aether Wild, thank you for the 10 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Just keep me around. Murderous Rider is a pretty safe craft overall. This card has a lot of flexibility to it. It's very reasonable. Fox, thank you for the 15 months. Thank you for the generous tier 3. I appreciate it. I'm actually going to go ahead and try and be pretty defensive here and play this out and trade with the Burning Emissary if they let me. They could have like a stomp here, but I think I would like to attempt this trade. That's actually pretty sweet, Marty. I didn't realize that. Do I play a tapped land, play this? I think I just wolf here, right? Just want to get that going, try and stabilize the board with it. Hopefully they missed their 4th land here again. Am I willing to trade this for Burning Tree and a Stomp? I think the answer is no. That's pretty good. The upside to potentially letting them kill this with a stomp would be the fact that I'm searching for, would be the fact that they wouldn't have gotten to add to the board this turn, which would have been ideal. I think I'm supposed to do this to play around Embercleave. So lets me get this blowout in now. Do they have another stomp here? Because, like, that stomp could have killed me instead of the Nightpack Ambusher, right? So, like, do they have another one? They just have another one? Oh. Huh. Alright. Deal. We take those. It's right to Flash and Sealer. And chump block with that. That's fine. I don't think I'm playing around an instant, a third stomp here. Pretty sure I'm just drawing a card. They didn't have it last turn, so, you know, sometimes they draw their third stomp. Sometimes they draw their third stomp. It's pretty slow and clunky overall. Trim the Castle Locthwain. Bring in a bunch of removal spells. Literally have not drawn a Typhoon. Match one, game one. Match one, game two now. Our mana is fairly consistent, which is nice. Yep. Love it. Yeah, Cunning Nightbonder is one I can take or leave. I agree with you, the fact that it doesn't reduce the cost of two of your best cards is a big deal. Eliminate is Soul Reave at instant and also destroys play. It's just much better. Just stop drawing comparisons of cards to other cards. It's okay, it's something that's just different. Also, kids these days, Soul Reave. This card Smother, thank you very much. Smother upgrade. Have a little goddamn respect, whippersnappers. Yeah, previous iteration of this deck that we had tried Cunning Nightbonder in was also playing, had also been playing, the blue Omen card that had flash, so that got reduced by this. Omen of the Sea. So the fact that we're not playing that card anymore is a big deal. What have I thought about Standard? Seems like about what we were expecting it to be. Seems like there's a bunch of... Looking at the results from the couple of tournaments that have happened, it doesn't seem particularly interesting or healthy. It seems like exactly what we thought it was going to be is what it turned out to be. What's wrong with Historic, Aetherwild? To set a low bar, I think Historic's currently the best format Magic has to offer. I think Sander could potentially take that title back in the fall when we lose, what's it called? We lose Teferi. Alright, let's play this now so we can draw 2 cards. Oh, you can't find any decks to play so that you don't just like playing better in Historic. Okay, yeah. I got you now. I understand. I understand. Picking up what you're putting down. And I obviously agree with you based on my personal play preferences. And again, a big part of that is, I think the thing that makes Historic the most enjoyable is just that, like, you know, Gruul has Embercleave, which is frustrating to play against on occasion, but, like, having aggressive decks be playable is a huge quality of life upgrade. I think formats where aggro decks are playable tend to be much better formats. This is an insane draw. If they don't have Embercleave here, they are very dead. I'm happy with how we boarded. Is it possible that I want Questing Beast in this matchup? Or just like trades with some of their stuff? I'll try and put 2 Questing Beast in. This might be too many 4s though. BB Trombone, thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. How's the new set? Generally speaking, underwhelming. I think Historic as a whole is fine, but I think M21 as a whole is kind of a dud. The least excitement around a new set I've ever experienced in my 20 years of playing Magic the Gathering. In large part probably due to the fact that it didn't do much for Standard. Alright, land doesn't hurt me is nice. No plays on turn 1 and turn 2, also nice. Do I just, like, assume they have a stomp here and decline to play this out? I think that's where I'm at in my life. Alright, so we're done here. Good chat. Any recommendations for standard decks? Bant. If you don't like playing Uro Mirrors, Standard's not a format for you right now. So, oh, you know what? What I should have done here is I should have eliminated this on my end of turn after I got my wolf token. Yeah, we had an okay run with green-white counters too. And again, like, at the end of the day, Magic's a game with an incredible amount of variance. So, like, when we say a deck is obnoxious and oppressive, that means it's winning, you know, 60% of the time or 65% of the time. There's enough variance in Magic that even when it's bad, you can do whatever you want still and still win some number of games and not just be completely embarrassed. But at the end of the day, if you are playing Standard currently and you are not playing Uro, you're specifically not playing the Bant Ramp or the Temur Reclamation deck, you are not giving yourself the best chance to win. And some people are okay with that. They're okay slamming their head into the wall, playing decks that are underwhelming and mediocre, generally speaking, and some people aren't. If you're okay putting yourself at a strict disadvantage against the majority of your opponents, who am I to stop you? You do you. Man, I thought this game was over when they stumbled, but turns out we could flood and die. Stumble beats flood 9 times out of 10. This card does not kill Questing Beast, by the way. It's Smother. Yeah, these, there's a chance that the number of eliminates, the number of Heartless Acts I'm playing are wrong. But again, like, that's the downside of trying to be interactive in Magic. Magic the Gathering is a game that, generally speaking, punishes you for attempting to be interactive. Which is why decks like Bant, that are very proactive and ramp, tend to be good. And decks that are hoping their answers line up properly into your opponent's threats often tend to struggle in Magic. You're right. I could have traded 3 cards to kill their Questing Beast. That would have been a legal play in a game that I was not winning, so I conceded. I commend you for pointing out the legal play. Activated my trap card. Gobble, gobble. Not blocking with this, might as well attack. A little bit of awkward sequencing on our part here, since, like, the way it's lined up to get our things into play, we're playing this last, but it is what it is. That draw means we'll get to cycle this at least, which is nice. He's got 2 thumbs and is excited to die to Embercleave. This guy right here. I mean, like, cutting... No Embercleave! I guess the fact that they only attacked with 2 things meant they didn't have Embercleave, so... I don't know. So, like, you're talking about Heartless Act, like, there's gonna be games where it's very easy to look at that game where I died to Questing Beast with Eliminate in my hand, but then, like, there's gonna be a different subset of games where, like, you die to Gruul Spellbreaker with a 1/1 counter on it with a bunch of Heartless Acts in your hand. So, like... There's also going to be games where, like, your opponent just has Planeswalkers in play. And you have a removal spell in your hand that doesn't do anything. Okay, so they have Castle Embereth ready to activate here. I think I still want to trade with as much of their stuff as possible. This leaves me my wolves, and it leaves them with this. Can't beat an Embercleave, not playing around it, just playing around the castle. Alright. It worked out for us. It's a non-legendary kill spell. Cast Down. Cast Down also misses Questing Beast. Basically picking and choosing, like, what cards you want to beat and what cards you want to lose to. You know, you could play Assassin's Trophy, but then you're giving your opponent mana to maybe beat you up with down the line too. Stuff like that. Yeah, about 20 minutes on Flash. Try this. Let's try this. Morning, Jace. Yep, yeah, planning to start about 11 a.m. every day this week. Oh, you know what we should consider? And maybe we'll make this swap after the game of all the drawbacks we've been talking about. I actually think Grasp of Darkness is a super playable removal spell. And, like, obviously, like, this hand's a good example of, like, why it's not strictly better. Like, I can't go Breeding Pool on 1, Grasp of Darkness on 2, but, like, in general, I think Grasp is a super reasonable removal spell in this format. They're scared, champ. We put the fear in them. Our opponent's dojo contains fear. What are they playing around? Cunning Nightbonder. It's a 2/2 with Flash that we got him with in the first game. Yeah, big agree that Grasp killing Questing Beast is good. You also occasionally need to kill things like a Danto Vanguard with the deck that we're playing. Yay, magic. I think all non-rotating formats inherently devolve into linear decks that are not interactive being the most competitive thing possible if the formats aren't managed properly. I think that's just a problem. I think that's just, it's not even a problem. It's just like a symptom of having a deep card pool with lots of combinations of things. And as always, the issues in these formats stem from the fact that the people at Wizards of the Coast that are making the decisions refuse to proactively manage anything. The queue is so long at 1 per day. It really isn't. I don't know, you're not new here, but maybe you haven't paid attention to the queue before. Like, at one point, actually at many points, the Magic queue was definitely at a, I don't know, 5 to 6 week wait for a minimum deck submission to get played. I mean, I don't really care. Like, I think, for the record, I think you're right. I think caring too much about the secondary market is why it takes Wizards too long to do things, or why they don't react to things at all ever. But I also don't really give a shit. Like, at the end of the day, as a player, it doesn't matter to me personally why things are bad or why they're wrong. I just know that they are wrong. 5 to 6 weeks at 4 to 6 decks a day, Walker. To give you insight into the volume of things I was taking in at one point. Yeah, correct. Which is part of the reason why I increased the price and also increased the price and also increased the number I'm just rejecting in general. Because there's too much churn. Okay, it's not a terrible pickup. Blacklance Paragon can gain us some life. We've got some blockers here. I mean, to be fair, if Eliminate was Heartless Act, it's still playable there, right? Although, I guess if it had been Grasp of Darkness, we'd be a little bit worse off. Yep. So we're going to 1 here after they activate Castle. Some tribal stuff will maybe be interesting to see with Jumpstart, but honestly, like, the actual power level of most of the things in Jumpstart isn't particularly high, so I genuinely wouldn't be surprised if there's not really much of a meaningful change to the format from that set. I think that set's going to supplement a lot of Tier 2 and Tier 3 decks that people are potentially interested in playing, but I think for the most part, it's going to be more of the same. Yeah, but if I had Grasp that turn, I wouldn't have been able to cast the Blacklance Paragon as well, because I would have needed triple black. Something worth noting. So, they're going to be able to equip this, and this will be hitting for 10, but I also just, like, don't really have any counterplay to that, right? So I think we're just passing. Just, like, hoping to throw enough wolves in front of it. Just, like, hoping to fade burn spells. Do not play Rider as a lifelink blocker. If I play Murderous Rider out, I don't get 2 4/4s. Nice one for them to not have. We actually survived this turn, right? This is 10, and this is 8, 12 in front of it. All of these block here, these block here. All right. Nailed it. Nailed it. Some good flash pups, chat. Did we not die to Evercleave because of board presence? The legends were true, right? Right, having board presence beat the aggro deck, weird. It only took making 8 free power per turn. 8 free power per turn, but we did finally do it. We beat the cleave. Thanks, Bionic Broccoli. I appreciate the 32 months. Welcome back. If we draw a green source here that's untapped, we can curve Nightbonder into Ambusher. Sick. Which again is a scotch awkward with this, but... Yay! Yay! I just hit plat 1, so I'm gonna concede the match. Because I don't feel like playing against Teferi. Work sucks, I know. She left me Teferi by the stairs. I can't say surprises let me know she cares because Teferi is not caring. This deck will probably be better in the Hooglandia Open than it is on the ladder because there's no Teferi in the Hooglandia Open. Speaking of, I should put the next Open command in the stream title again. Forgot about that. We scheduled, the next Hooglandia Open is scheduled for people that are looking to play in that. It's going to be on July 18th. If that event caps, it will have over $1,500 in store credit from Cool Stuff Inc. up as prizes. The prizes for that event are going to scale based on the number of people playing in the tournament. Shout out to Cool Stuff Inc. for being willing to scale the prizes like I asked. If they reprint Teferi Time Raveler, I'm quitting Magic. Clip it. I'm done, I'm out. They reprint that card into a standard legal set, I quit. Supplemental product, that's fine. So they put it back into standard, I'm done. They put that card back into standard, it shows that the people still don't understand what they're doing with their game. 31's a decent number. Throw this at some kind of Teemo and Runeterra. It's the closest I get to Hex Spider. Sounds good, Talrand. Have they ever reprinted a Planeswalker into Standard? Yeah, a few times. Most recently, Ugin. It's their long game to permaban me. That's fine. We'll just become a full-time Runeterra streamer. They reprint Teferi Time Raveler. Speaking of Runeterra, to rant about other things that are great for a minute, one of the project's leads for Runeterra went on one of their community podcasts recently and was talking about just like core design stuff for the game and like things that are important to them and how they balance their formats and stuff like that. It was just like such an unreal breath of fresh air to hear a developer talk about the things what they talked about. Like, that game's gonna have a bright future if they keep going in the direction they're going. It's on my Twitter. It's on my Twitter. One of the things, and actually, this made me feel even better about house banning Teferi and Reclamation. One of the things they talked about in the podcast, the designer, they talked about where it's important to not just balance things around win rates. They talked about how it was important to them to balance things around players having fun with the game. And it's like, oh, this is such a novel flipping concept. Players are supposed to have fun. They talked about how they try to put experiences into their game so players can feel satisfied with the game that they played even when they didn't win. And that's explicitly something that they test and look for and design around, which is actually one of the things that we've talked about with, you know, why Reclamation is such a bad experience in Magic, right? Because, like, Reclamation goes in the other direction, right? Like, when you play against Wilderness Reclamation in Magic, most of the time, at least for me personally, I feel bad even when I win the game, much less what it feels like when you lose. Yeah, that was another funny one. They're talking about how if they felt there was an issue, they didn't want to wait 2 weeks to fix it. Because, like, their normal turnaround time for patches is 2 weeks. And it's just like, they don't want to be too slow and wait 2 weeks. This almost fell out of my chair. Just like, could you imagine them thinking 2 weeks is slow? Like, good lord. I would kill for a 2 week turnaround from WotC on things. Rotation happens with the next set, correct? So in the fall. Two weeks doesn't just feel long for their player base. It's super long in general. So I played Cunning Nightbonder on my turn, because this notably says my flash spells can't be countered, which has some real upside here. We're gonna go Slitherwisp into Blacklance Paragon if they don't give us something to counter. What's wrong with the current standard, in my opinion? Go look at some tournament results. Have you read the card Uro? If not, I'd recommend doing so. Are you familiar with Nissa? Get familiar. I wonder if we could punk them out with Slitherwisps and Nightpack Ambusher here. So this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So yeah, so I can actually kill them here if they have nothing. So they don't have like another Brazen Borrower or something here. They're dead. Close race. Do you have a third borrower? Oh yeah, you're right. I guess I didn't need. I was thinking I needed the extra one, but I had one over. Yeah, I should definitely let combat happen first there. You're right. 10 out of 10 should have just said yes, combat happens. All right, I'm actually not gonna board in trophy because I don't want to give them lands. Dispute sounds great. Eliminate, Heartless Act, Disfigure, all sound great. Murderous Rider sounds a little slow and clunky. I'm going to trim Frilled Mystic because it's a 4-mana spell that gets Mystic disputed, so that doesn't sound appealing. Nightpack Ambusher is stellar. Cunning Nightbonder is stellar. Is that a blue chair behind me? Yeah, it's the old DX Racer Tempo Storm sent me. It was in the other room, but Christy's been coming to visit with Haley pretty consistently, so I wanted to have a chair in here for her to sit down in that wasn't a folding chair. The Racer's fine as far as like cheap gaming chairs go. It's just not nearly as nice as my expensive office chair. Spend your money where you spend your time, chat. Especially for someone who's newly working from home. Like, definitely don't cheap out on what you're sitting in. Nightbonder and Shark Typhoon in the opener. Opponent's mulligan to 4 or 5 here. Don't get cheap whenever you're fighting with gravity. There's some good advice. Secret Labs are one of the higher end gaming chairs, right? Those run more than $200 or $300 if I recall. Could be right to wait till their turn. The problem with waiting till their turn is I expose myself to 2-mana counterspells. I think I just try and get in now, but while they can only have Dive Down or Spell Pierce. It's a decent pickup. So, am I Slitherwisping here or cycling Shark Typhoon? I think we're just cycling Shark Typhoon. Please double block me. Okay, so this is a concession, right? Oh, if I had played Island, I could have played this out this turn. Would have been so much better. No attack, no block. Bold strategy. Red Rover, let Terry come over. Play this uncounterable heads-up Brazen Borrower. Opponent really didn't have much of a shot this game. They mulliganed to 4. They played a game of Magic at least, I guess. It's not like they just missed land drops and died. Or flooded and died, but there's nowhere near enough resources to keep up with our 7-card set. Yeah, you don't play Nightbonder for its non-counterable clause, but edge matchups like that one where it shows up, it's really nice. Just not the reason we put it in our deck, but we'll take it when it's relevant. Merfolk. Eliminate. Eliminate. Get the curve out really nice here. 2, 3, 4. Calm down there, Jerry. Calm down. Listen, nothing I posted on Twitter is nothing I couldn't do in public, okay? You can go to any beach and see what you saw on my Twitter. KYP, thank you for the 1.5 years. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Good thing we didn't add Walk the Plague, right? It's actually a card we were talking about. How much for Jeff to stream? So, fun fact. Twitch actually has fair and balanced rules, and neither men nor women or any non-binary other, no nipples of any sort are allowed on Twitch. It doesn't matter what you identify as. I need to save trophy for this. The question is, do I want to trade this for a fish? I think I do. Twitch is equally offended by your nipples no matter what body they're on. Heard you change mulligans to make them more fair. I don't even know if there's really a problem with the current mulligan system. I think if you were to say, Jeff, what is a fundamental problem with the rules engine of Magic the Gathering that you would change? I would try and balance play versus the draw better in Magic. I think Magic has too big of a discrepancy when you're on the play versus when you're on the draw. Gobble, gobble. Woof, there it is. Woof, there it is. That's actually kind of scary. I guess we're Frilled Mysticking that. Is there a video of yours that sells Runeterra well? If you go to the favorites page on my website, there's actually a number of Runeterra decks that I've tagged as favorites because I thought they had pretty exceptional games in them. Had good back and forth. I would also recommend, though, taking a second to play through the tutorial, at least the first step or two, just so you get the base of the rules. I explain it a little bit when we start, always, but playing it yourself definitely makes it click better than just watching someone throw tutorial bits at you, in my opinion. Oh yeah, leaks. Magic leaks are always welcome on my channel. I'll just link the leak. I think the people that ban talking about leaks are very silly. You can't take the piss back out of a swimming pool. Like, once something's on the internet, you might as well talk about it. Man, you know, I was even thinking, am I supposed to play around Spell Pierce here? And apparently the answer was yes. That's brutal. Alright, I'm gonna cycle this for 2. See if I can find a removal spell, because I really need one. This gets unblockable. Hey, Hellboy, thanks for the 28 months. Welcome back. Let's start drawing cards here. This is probably going to run away from us because we can't answer this meta. Hey, Locola, thank you for the brand new cheer on sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. You're having a good one wherever you're at. MWLX, thanks for the 23 months. Double face cards are returning with a twist. You can play either side of the double face card as you like, and yes, that includes lands. So creatures, enchantments, and whatnot can be played as lands in case of emergency. Man, that definitely doesn't sound like a mechanic that's going to be widely played in literally every Magic format. That definitely won't cause lots of people to be very upset and demand they be banned instantaneously. If that's true. If that's true, there's no way it remains legal. Can't block this. How are you supposed to track that in paper? Well, it says they'd be double-faced cards, so probably like that. Can only deal 14 here. If I would have played around the Spell Pierce and the trophy, probably end up winning that game. Yeah. What's it called? Single-handedly won it. Shark Typhoon's been pretty underwhelming so far. The shark just isn't large enough on average for us to apply meaningful pressure. I'll leave them in here and see how they feel. I'm gonna trim the Cunning Nightbonders instead. Bring in a bunch of cheap removal. Again, trim the 4-drop that gets Mystic Disputed against the aggro deck. You'd have won if they swung with both creatures next turn. No, there's no reason for them not to make their thing unblockable. I'm not going to waste another 2 minutes of everyone's time making them make the objectively correct play. Yeah, I agree, Quaddle. I think if they really did print double-sided creature/lands that you could play as either side, those cards would be so wide. Those cards would probably be more widely played than companions even, and would be promptly banned in most formats due to blowback and people complaining. Leech Life, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oaklandia. Hope you're having a wonderful Sunday wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to everybody on the weekends. A little bit smaller audience on Saturday and Sunday, but still happy to be here. Doing a little bit each day has been good as opposed to doing longer, fewer days. I mean, sideboarding's kind of like tedious if you think about it, Marty. It's just like an appropriate fix for when like your games have so much variance in them that you want to play best of 3 anyways. I don't know that you necessarily have to strictly remove the mana system, but I do wish they would explore more. I feel like they could push the limits of the design more. For example, what if they changed the rules and said, okay, all basic lands can cycle for 2 mana? What if we just eroded basic lands to cycle for 2 mana? Nice, Leech Life. Yeah, I remember that one. It was a good set. Alright, Shark Typhoon looking pretty okay here. Gonna cycle and make a 3/3 for us. Relatively quick clock with that and Brazen Borrower. CBM, thanks for 11 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I don't know, like, things like getting rid of the mana system and letting you turn any card into a land, like, that's pretty extreme. Small things like letting you cycle basic lands could be things worth exploring. But again, like, it feels like changes like that are, like, so huge they're basically never going to happen, so I almost just feel like they're not worth discussing. I think I'm actually trading this Shark for their 3/3 here. Revelry, thanks for the 3/4 of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I believe I actually want to play Slitherwisp first here. If I play Cutthroat first, I get a 1/1 counter, but if I play Slitherwisp first, I get to draw a card, which is clearly better. Okay. Alright. The coin toss is removed and replaced by a sub-game of Magic. So this game's done. We get to go Wisp into Nightbonder here and draw 3 cards. There's a nice healthy 20, but it was just not able to get any pressure going this game while they were on the draw. Devoid RNG and make each game fair. Each player should be able to choose their starting hand and deck order before the game begins. So, fun fact, as a card game personality, I get, I don't know, probably an email or more per week from people creating their own indie card game, whether it be on Kickstarter or Steam or wherever, if they have funding or not. And one of the ones that actually came across my email, that was actually one of the premise they had. They were the variance-free card game, where you literally stacked your deck before each game. I was like, that sounds like something. I mean, you know, the market's so saturated, you gotta do something to stand out. I think it's probably pretty unlikely that I'm unable to make time for Mythgard. I'm already making an effort to try and diversify a little bit into Runeterra stuff. And while Mythgard's core gameplay is reasonable, just, you know, indie projects like that don't have enough core audience to ever be a game I could stream full-time. Whereas, like, Runeterra having the backing of a big company like Riot means it's something that I could diversify further into at some point, if they keep doing things correctly. Cards that cause your opponent to shuffle would be great in that meta. Nice. You mean a big company like Tencent? Sure. Tencent owns parts of basically everything. Discord, Blizzard, almost every Epic Games. I don't know. Even before all the issues started coming out surrounding Wizards of the Coast, I had realized it was probably silly to take some type of moral high ground against a company like Tencent, and then, like, all the crap that's come out about Wizards and their company practices and how they treat their employees in different ways and their hiring practices. It's like, I was stupid to ever think that it was reasonable that this company, like, actually cared, right? That this company was anything other than a big evil corporation, because that's just the reality. It's what they are. You are incredibly naive if you think Wizards cares about you personally. The only thing they care about personally is emptying every dollar possible out of your wallet. There's 256 players in the open. What's the prize? All the prizes are detailed on the page. So the prizes will scale up based on the number of players, because the prizes are getting paid out not based on final place standing, but are being paid out based on record. So if there's more people in the event, there will be more people with the records that are defined. Yes, Tencent's the company making the Pokemon MOBA. That is correct. I'm a big company. I'm a big human being, but I'm definitely not a corporation. Treatsies. Yep. Yeah, to not pull any punches, the people laughing about the Pokemon MOBA, to be blunt, you're idiots. The Pokemon MOBA is likely going to be wildly successful because that IP is incredible. And in fact, the biggest failing of the Pokemon IP is the fact that it's taken them this long to realize the Pokemon IP should be on just everything. The Pokemon just literal everything should have a Pokemon variation of it, and it will likely be wildly successful. Inject the Pikachus directly into me, chat. Eris Move, thanks for the 17 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Proliferate, sure. So, for people wondering why I haven't been killing their things, again, being interactive while playing Magic the Gathering tends to be a recipe to be sad. So, this Kupla, Warden of the Waves here, is sitting here making me real sad. Do I want to play Murderous Rider, or do I want to play Brazen Borrower? I feel like I want to play Brazen Borrower and jump block this. It'll let me draw 3 more cards too and deal 3 more damage. Shit, actually, I just like take this hit, right? Did I really not draw any flash cards? I think I still just take the hit and try and draw a flash card and kill them, right? Man, I don't know how we won this game, but God bless you, Slitherwisp. God bless you, Slitherwisp. We take those. I don't know if this deck is good, chat, but getting to kill your opponent whilst simultaneously drawing cards is basically everything I want to do in Magic. So, like, you know, take those. We're almost home, chat. Diamond 4 rank floor. Let's do it. Final boss. Yeah, I think I might throw this one up on the website, Clyde. I'll have to go back and double check the last time we played it, but if I recall, my wrap up last time we played it was that it felt pretty wonderful. Felt pretty okay. Not doing the standard metagame challenge. If I wanted to gamble, I would play more Raid Shadow Legends. we're probably just borrowing the Sanctum Seeker here. Hey, Fox Brew, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. It's an interesting pickup. I think I'm just getting Nightpack down this turn, though. Oh, I'm actually just dead here, right? Because if I don't block here, Sorin kills me. How is this deck? Really good when we draw Slitherwisp. Yeah, opponent's draw was very good for sure. We were also on the draw that game, right? So their hand was very aggressive, and they were on the play. Hey, Paradise Sal, thanks for the sub-gifties. Hope you're having a wonderful morning. Except lands, this is standard legal. The main deck is, yes. I think the sideboard, too. Mana base is pretty important, though. In my deck, trying to play black, black, green, green, blue, blue cards, having good mana is pretty important. So 21 months, Digitech Wire. Welcome back. No one drop here means this game's likely to play out very, very different than the last one. Happy to be here, Digitech. Yeah, my new, my planned schedule after the last sub-survey, a lot of people were indifferent for the most part, but as far as, like, things people liked goes, a pretty significant amount said they, pretty significant amount said that they, prefer more streams, more days per week. Alright, so I just get to take this hit for 3, and then I get to attack these into Sora next turn. My wrap up from Sultai Flash the 20th said you're going to add it to the website if you got a chance to get a banner. Get that. Past Hogland forgot. That darn past Hogland. He's the worst, chat. Stupid past Jeff. Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to constantly do 7 days a week, but I think 6 days a week is going to be the new normal. With which day I end up taking off, probably going to be a little bit sporadic depending on what my schedule looks like. Also, wouldn't hate feedback on how people feel about start times in general. I'm starting a little bit later this week than I had been previously, so with the shorter streams, do people like starting later, starting earlier, etc., etc. Yeah, that was my thinking in starting a little bit later, is I don't cut West Coast people off of live viewing as much. Starting at 11 means 9 a.m. left coast time. This is probably too slow on the draw. Brazen Borrower is not stellar, but it's just like 2 mana interaction a little bit. Starting at 11 means my end time is about the same as what my end time was when I was doing longer days. Less days per week. We'll see too. It's hard to collect metrics too much because you gotta look at trends, so probably start a little bit later for a week or two and look back at what the data says. From the EU, and both previous and current start times are good. Yeah, that makes sense. EU's like 5 or 6 hours ahead of me, right? So I'm going to go ahead and disfigure the Vampire of the Dire Moon here rather than the Conquistador, because this has Death Touch. So this I can eat inside of combat with Nightbonder, whereas this I would trade. I have to take a hit for 2 here, but I think it's worthwhile. The EU is big. We have more than one time zone. That's not true. There's only 5 time zones, chat. There's the 4 time zones in America, and then everybody else is on the same one. There's only Eastern. That can be yes! Diamond 4 rank floor! The loving embrace, chat. The loving embrace of the Diamond 4 rank floor. It holds me close at night. We're home! We made it home! Hawaii and Alaska have time zones, right? Yeah, definitely. Oh, here's we haven't discussed political events yet today. Does Kanye West announcing his run for president in 2020 hurt Biden or Trump more? Discuss. It hurts my brain more. That's probably the correct assessment. Hey chat, I'm on the Diamond 4 rank floor, so rather than play against this Teferi deck, I get to concede. Isn't that fun? That's great. This is why we're house banning Teferi and Reclamation from the Hoaglandia Open, so that way nobody has to feel bad while they play Magic. You were playing Field of the Dead and Ghosts. Were you also playing Teferi? Could be Reclamation? Why Reclamation ban and not Nexus? I want to see what that does. I actually think Reclamation or Nexus is kind of a sweet payoff if you have to work for it. You just don't work for it. This is like 1,000% Nexus of Fate, right? Alright, third time's the charm. We're gonna find a matchup that I don't hate. God bless you! God bless you, Diamond 4 ranked floor. God bless you. I want to play one more match. So naturally we found 2 miserable matchups in a row, but through the loving embrace of the Diamond 4 rank floor, I get to just concede the miserable matches. The Lotus Box people were having some kind of invitational tournament today from some of their events that they ran that was standard and historic, and like 3/4 of their players register Reclamation Nexus of Fate for historic. We've not played any green aggro, no, Brian. That would be a deck that I would accept as a submission, but I haven't played it personally. Yeah, it seems like a neat payoff, Blitz Legend. Why does it not rank you back down to Platinum? Because once you hit the rank floor, you can't fall back below it. So when you hit that, when you hit Diamond, Platinum, Gold, etc., you can't fall back down until next season. Alright, chat. You can have 30 seconds to vote. Should we concede again? Because this is probably another Teferi deck. I'm gonna let chat decide. I've already conceded twice, so I'm gonna let chat decide. We're gonna find one more match that's not against Teferi Reclamation. It's gonna be fine. We can do it. I believe in us, chat. God bless you, chat. God bless you. Was the Diamond 4 ranked floor secretly a curse? Is the Diamond rank just all Reclamation and Teferi from here on out? Just Reclamation and Teferi all the way down? Hey, 6 feet apart, reminding to sub you to wear, subbing to remind you all to wear a damn mask. Ain't that the truth? Speaking of scary things, there's a group of scientists that have submitted some research to the World Health Organization that their findings find that COVID is airborne for transmission. So I would assume that wearing a mask probably helps prevent you from picking it up with regards to that. So even if you're a selfish prick that didn't want to wear a mask for others, maybe consider wearing one for yourself. Yay! Land War Elves! Second green source here is a great draw. Lets us curve this into this. I'm not supposed to be made lighting Lysol. You are not. Yeah, it looks like a deck similar to what we're going to be playing next. We're going to play Ugin Ramp next, so we'll play this out. Give us a little bit of onboarding into the next deck we're about to play. The stats Saffron Olive posted on Uro this morning were interesting. Did the stats Saffron Olive posted on Uro involve Magic Online data that's artificially diversified? Saffron Olive has a bad tendency to use bad data to push narratives. There's a lot of sap. It's price data. Okay, sure. Speaking of Uro and price data, that card is hella expensive on Magic Online. Speaking of Moto, Uro, and price data. It's up to Oko levels of cost now, sure. I mean, it's Oko levels good. And for people that aren't familiar with Magic Online, you want to talk about, people talk about having a secondary market on why doesn't Arena have a secondary market? Here's Uro's price graph for Magic Online. It is, it's currently, $70. They'll buy them from you for $65 for one digital copy of Uro on Moto. 70 US dollars. Yeah, 3-mana Def on Moto is like $50, and that one's only a rare, right? Which is pretty absurd. That's a bold strategy. Although I guess Trophy was killing this regardless. They just didn't get to wipe out my board now. You have a confirmed Arena Elise Day. It will be legal for the Open. The confirmed day. I am not Wizards of the Coast, so I schedule my tournaments trying to maximize hype, as opposed to scheduling a standard Pro Tour right before a new set releases. So, Jumpstart releases on July 16th on Magic Arena. So naturally, the next Open is July 18th. So people who are excited to play with and watch Jumpstart cards can watch the Open. And see those cards be played there. It is unfathomable to me how consistently poor Wizards times their events in terms of making people excited to watch them. They consistently put standard events when the format's about to rotate or change instead of right after. And so it's so wild because like they are the ones that choose when these things come out, and they're the ones that schedule the tournaments. Do you have any clue how Jumpstart? I don't believe so. I don't know exactly what the card acquisition model is going to be. If anybody has a source on that says that, feel free to share in chat. That's an answer to Uro once they chump block their way into escaping it, so that's nice. So if they block with two things here, they get to escape Uro. I think this is a mistake on their part. I think they're supposed to chump block with two things so they can get Uro. I guess maybe they want to leave themselves enough mana to cast Ugin. But they have 7 here, right? So like if they chump blocked with this or this, they can still cast Ugin. This is a matchup that I really don't have a lot of cards in my sideboard here for. The way this configuration is, this is something I might change on the website. I almost did it for this, but I ended up not. The fact that all of our counterspells in the board are Mystic Dispute is kind of bad here against a ramp deck. Some amount of negates or disdainful strokes might be good. Like, I think I might split these disputes 2-2 with stroke, perhaps, when I put this up on the website. How's the set been? It's been super reasonable. We've also conceded to all the Teferi decks and Reclamation decks, though, so, like, take that with a grain of salt. Turns out Magic is more fun and less frustrating when you concede to the crappy decks. No ramp spell on 2, God bless. Shifty boy. Sweet. Kill that one before they can untap with some kind of counterspell. Yeah, someone really monkey pawed the Simic power level. They were just like, I wish Simic was more competitive, and then like the finger curled up on the monkey paw, and we got what was in 2019 and 2020 Magic. Really, it's just 2019 Magic that sucked, right? 2019 was War of the Spark and Eldraine. Oh, I guess Uro was Theros, though, right? 2020 had Uro? Yeah, at the Uro, Escape was Theros. You're right. This is easily the best card in our deck. Ah, the flavor text. Ah, the flavor text. Savor the flavor, chat. Savor the flavor. The Nightbonder flavor text been relevant a few times today. It's been real sweet. Read. Why you have to be so mean? Why you have to be so mean? Yeah, the fact that just like sometimes ramps you into Nightpack Ambusher is like worthwhile. Pretty sure. They have enough to Ugin or Ulamog me? 6, 7, 8 only. Do I just let this resolve to get Nightpack Ambusher going? Nah, probably not. I guess this blocks my flyer anyways. I have 3 of these. Let's counterspell them. Tomorrow, Morrow will have an article called The Future of Magic, and he hopes he talks about unfun gameplay that new card design philosophy created. Yeah, I hope so. I didn't know that was a thing that was coming out. Looking forward to seeing that now. Maybe that's something we can look at together on stream. Would that be nice, chat? Should we read Morrow's article together on stream? It should be out by the time I'm live by 11. Damn, we've been playing this one for almost 2 hours. It's a good one. If the next deck we're gonna play, the Ugin ramp deck is good, I'm gonna throw that one on the website too. Expand the historic section up there a little bit. Get some more archetypes playable. Would we have had lethal if we killed the Ceratopsa trophy? I don't know. Why do you want to stop drawing cards? What do these cards ever do to you? Do you not see me slowly killing my opponent with a Slitherwisp whilst drawing cards, chat? What's wrong with you? Fine. Fine, I'll kill their dinosaur and attack them. You're gonna twist my arm about it. Thanks, J-Bag. All the congratulations go to Christy, though. My part in the whole ordeal was, not a lot. Get that. Moving on up. Do-do-do-do. Be-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Yeah, I don't know that I really have anything I would change. Maybe 4 eliminate is too many, and I'd rather play a Heartless Act and then split these disputes with strokes. Hey, good game, Sword and Shield. Good luck on the rest of your lettering today. We didn't really... I decided to concede the Reclamation matchups today rather than play them. If you're gonna do that, you probably don't need these questing beasts. Although this is pretty good against Planeswalker decks too. The Shark Typhoons were okay. I feel like I'd probably lead them. I don't feel like they were good, but I also don't feel like they were particularly bad either, which is kind of why this card is fine, right? Like, worst case, it just cycles. Yeah, I think this is, we're going to throw this one up on the site with this 75. All right, I'm going to hit a quick ad roll while I get everything set up and flipped over for the next one. When we get back, we're actually going to play something similar to what our last opponent was just playing. We're going to kick the tires on some Ugin ramps here. We'll be back in just a few. Thanks for hanging out today, folks.